If you're building a voice agent with VAPI, stop uploading PDF documents. In this video, we're building a fully working pipeline using NA10, Supabase, and VAPI that allows you to have a custom knowledge base that can answer any query or FAQ from a customer that automatically updates documents and automatically deletes documents in a way that's much more reliable than manually uploading PDFs to your VAPI agent. So to begin with, I'm just going to show you a demo. So right here we've got a Google Drive document with some company information. Now you'll see in my VAPI assistant that there is no file selected, but it's still going to be able to pull the information and give us accurate answers. So I'm going to call the agent now and you'll see the system working. I know it looks a little bit crazy, but we're going to focus on this bottom part here. Okay, so let's have a look.
Thank you for calling the Glow Clinic. This is Chloe. How may I help you today?
Hi, I was wondering what payments you guys accept.
One moment, please. I will check the documents to provide you with the information about our accepted payment methods. We accept payments through Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Apple Pay, and bank cards here at the Glow Clinic. However, we do not accept cash payments. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, that's perfect. Thank you. Okay, so you can see what's happening there is we're pulling information through the vector database through Supabase that is linked to this Google Drive document. Okay, so let's just quickly break down how this is working. So this is our voice agent that we've set up. Okay, so we're going to ignore all of this stuff here to begin with. So this would just be whatever your voice agent setup looks like. Okay, for this case it's an appointment setter for a clinic. So what's happening here is we're doing this through a tool call. Okay, so it's able to identify that the correct tool, which we've named Get User Documents, is being called. It's then being passed through this AI agent that we've set up. Okay, it's going to look for the information that we've stored in a Supabase vector store. Okay, and then it's going to basically take that information and then it's going to come back, and using AI it's going to synthesize that information and then respond to VAPI with a webhook, and then we're able to get the answer. So this is the second part of the system. So this is what is allowing us to pull information from just a Google Docs document that's in a folder. It's going to be able to plug it into our vector Supabase, which we'll set up later. Okay, but basically you can see there are two separate triggers. One when a file is created, so we've added a new Google document, and one is when a file is updated. It's going to automatically set a file ID. It's going to delete all of the old information in our vector database. It's going to download the Google Drive documents. It's going to extract the information, and then it's going to basically plug it into our database, and this allows it to be constantly updated without having to manually kind of have to upload anything to VAPI. Okay, I'll show you how to set this up as well. And then the last part of the system is this workflow here. Okay, so this is what allows us to make sure that if we're deleting any old documents from our Google Drive folder, that our database is updated as well. So this is just a scheduled trigger every 15 minutes. Okay, you can set it to whatever time you want, but basically what this is doing is it's extracting the data from the vector database, extracting the file ID, removing any duplicates, and then at the same time it's searching our Google Drive folder and documents, and then it's going to basically compare the two. So if there are any pieces of information that are in the Supabase database but are not in the Google Drive folder because we've now deleted them, then it's going to delete those old pieces of information. So this just makes sure that if we're updating our Google Drive folder by deleting documents, then it's going to make sure that our database is updated as well. Before we set up any of those workflows, we need to create the tool that allows it to be called in the correct way. Okay, so hopefully if you're at this point where we're doing RAG databases, you should hopefully know how to set up agents like this, but we need to create the tool to be able to call this agent. Okay, so we're going to go to our VAPI dashboard, to our assistant. We're going to go over here to tools. Okay, you can see I've already got some tools set up, but you'd create new tool, custom tool, you would name it, get user documents tool. You can leave the description, and you'd go over here to parameters, click this button to JSON, and then I'm going to provide the download to this code in the description called get user documents tool. You'd paste this in, click apply, and then save. Okay, so now that tool is set up and ready to be used. And of course, we would need to make sure that in our prompt that we're referencing this tool so it knows how to be used. So for example, in my prompt here, we can say if the user asks a question about our business name, like services offered, locations, etc., you must identify the query and get the user documents tool to find the answer. Okay, so you need to make sure that that tool we've created is referenced with the same name of the tool that we've just set up. I hope that makes sense. So now we have an overview of how the system works. Let's actually go ahead and set this up together. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is go in the description. You're going to download the template for this workflow. Okay, and then you'd come into NA10 and you can just import from file and then copy paste it in here. Okay, so then you're going to have this. So we're going to set up we're going to focus on this part like we said. Okay. This will already be set up for you. The main thing we need to do is link our Supabase vector store. Okay, so we're going to come in here. Now, obviously mine is already linked. Okay, but what you're going to do is create a new credential. Now it's asking us for a host and a service role secret. So to get these, we're just going to go to supabase.com. Okay, you're going to start your project. Now I already have an account, so I'm going to go to dashboard. Select mine. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to project settings, and then we're going to go to API keys. Okay, so we need the service role, so you'd click reveal and copy this, come back to NA10, and then you're going to copy in this secret code. Okay, now to get the host, we go back to Supabase and we're going to go to data API. And then we've got the URL here, so you would copy this and you'd come back and paste this in your host and then click save. Okay, and then you'd be all set up with your Supabase credentials. So next we need to set up the table. Okay, so obviously mine is already linked, but what we need to do to get this set up, okay, we're going to come over here, we're going to go to the left side to SQL editor. Now this is going to be empty for you. Okay, I've already pasted in this code. But what you're going to do is you're going to download this code from the description below. Okay, it's going to be called SQL editor code. You're going to paste this in here, and you're going to click run this query. Success, no rows returned. That's exactly what we want. Okay, and then you're going to go to table editor, and then you should have this table here called knowledge base. Now again, yours will be empty. Mine has this because it's already loaded this information. Okay, but that's fine. So now we have the table set up. We're going to go back to the NA10 workflow. You might want to refresh, and then from list you're going to click knowledge base, and then you're going to leave this as is. Okay, so now we've got the Supabase credentials set up. We next need to add in our OpenAI chat model, which is basically the brain of this agent. Okay, so you're going to come over to platform.openai.com/API keys. Make sure you're signed in, and then you're going to click on create a new secret key. Call it whatever you want. Okay, and then you would create it. I'm not going to create a new one. Okay, but once it's created, you would copy it, come back here, click on this node, create a new credential, and then you'd paste this in here and click save. Okay, and then that will be linked. I'm using ChatGPT 4.1 mini for this model. Okay, so it's nice and quick. And now you have the OpenAI chat model set up. You do the same here. Just make sure that this is linked to your OpenAI account. Okay, and then that is all of the credentials set up for this. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to set up the other two workflows. So the first one is the workflow that's going to automatically detect if documents have been deleted and then take them out of our Supabase store here. Okay, so again, download the template from below. It's going to be called Ultimate Agent Delete Supabase. you can import from file, and then you'll have this here. So all we need to do is make sure that, again, our Supabase credentials are set up. Make sure that the table name is knowledge base like we set up before, and you're going to leave everything else as it is. Same over here, make sure credentials are set up, and then make sure this is the knowledge base table name. And then you're going to make sure that your Google Drive account is linked as well. Okay, so you can search up how to link your Google Drive to NA10, pretty straightforward. And then from list, again, we're going to make sure this is Supabase. So what this is referring to is a Google document. So I've come in, created a new folder called Supabase, where we just have some dummy info here, okay, which is just some general information. This is where you'd have all of the information about the company that you want it to pull answers from. Okay, and then that is where that is what this is referring to. So you just create a Google document and make sure this is linked correctly to that document that you want. Okay, and then this should be all set up. So again, if you remember what this is doing, it's comparing what we have in Supabase to what we have in our Google Drive folder, and then it's deleting any information that is no longer in our Google Drive because we've deleted it. So next, we'll set up the last workflow. So this is what is allowing us to detect any new documents that are created within our folder that we've created here. Okay, it's going to set the file ID and basically plug it into our Supabase database. Okay, so again, make sure your Google Drive account is linked here. Make sure we're taking it from the document that we've called Supabase. Okay, and then making sure our accounts are linked here. Again, table name, knowledge base, same as before. Make sure this is set up as well. Leave everything as this is. And then again, making sure we're linked up to our account here. And again, this should be knowledge base. Okay, so once you've done all of those, it would again just link your OpenAI account exactly the same as we did before. Leave all the settings as they are, and then you'd hit save. Okay, and now we have all of the workflows set up for you. Okay, so now we have this all set up. Let's actually give this a test. So remember what this workflow is doing is it's detecting any new documents or updated documents from our Google Drive folder, and it's going to plug it into our Supabase store. So what we'll do, we'll come into our test folder. I'm going to create a new document. And then I've just created some dummy data using ChatGPT. Okay, so now we've copy pasted this in. Now, if we come back to our workflow, we've set it as active. So if we go to executions, we can see that already we've just added this new document and it's already executing this action. Perfect. Okay, so you can see it detected that a file was created, and then it's done all of these steps, and then it should have plugged it into our Supabase knowledge base. Boom. So you see how it just automatically input the information here. So now if we called our AI agent, it would automatically run this step, and it would detect that we have this new information here, and it would be able to answer any of the new info that we've just imported into our Google document. And then finally, let's test the last workflow. So again, remembering what this workflow is doing, it's on a scheduled trigger every 15 minutes, it's going to detect if we've deleted any files, and then it's going to update the Supabase database. So if we came into our folder and we now delete this document, so move to trash. Okay. Now, obviously, this is set up as a schedule trigger, so what I'm going to do is just manually execute the workflow. But remember, we added this new information in, and so now we've deleted it. This needs to update. So if it was 15 minutes, okay, I'm just going to manually execute this. Okay, that should be done. And then let's see what happens here. Let's refresh. And you can see that information that we previously added that we've now deleted has automatically been deleted from the database. Okay, so that has worked perfectly.